this case, I have to introduce myself and also say hello from my side. So if you expect or have concerns about a lecture or a hard presentation of a scientific results, I have to disappoint you. So I want to show what we do actually in research, how this can be applied maybe on your projects or in your industry. I will go quite quickly over the slide, but just why am I here? As said, I'm a professor for business information systems, but in the moment I'm for over nearly 25 years in the automotive industry. From the first project in consulting, then as an executive at senior manager at MAN Truck and Bus, and now also as a consultant, and I somehow fell in love with the industry, and I love to bring new ideas also to this industry to make innovation and to make the products better. So what's our motivation? Our motivation, how we started basically, was this one. Smartphone, or my former smartphone, a 4 years old iPhone SE. I really loved it. Everything worked except the battery. The battery was about lasting in perfect times 1 day. Is it a good user experience? I guess you would say no. So I went to the Apple store and said, can you exchange the battery? And there they told me, you are stupid, this costs 100 euros, so better buy a new one. Could be also sales strategy. But then I discussed it with a colleague from our mechanical engineering faculty, and then we found some results. Or we had interesting discussions, and the first things were, on the one hand side, this reintegration of products is hardly foreseen or wished, and when we look on the factory level, how it's produced, production settings are mainly linear. But we also discussed there must be cases, and then maybe we can think about Diego's presentation yesterday, where we take recycled materials. We hear a lot about rare earth and the prices, also just the presentation we had some minutes before. And there must be also potential to reintegrate products or components into a new life cycle or give them a second life. And the last one also, maybe here with the biggest picture, also not of unimportance, ecological constraints. We consume a lot, and I took one picture from the Alps, so I live also in Munich. I'm often in the Alps, and after the last decades, I saw some changes here, and sometimes not really for the better. And that's our motivation why we do this IT and production co-research. So in terms, we want to understand how can we prolong life cycles, of course by having information, that's more my part, from product usage, about components, how are they, can they be reduced, and by this, there must be also business potential, because no company will do it only due to altruistic purposes. Maybe, but the main job of a company is to make money. To be frank, it's okay. That's why we are all sitting here or standing here. So can we use this also to increase monetarization? And I want to share what we are doing and may also plug some ideas. How can we apply this and combine ecological and economical stuff? So our research intent is to find situations where using circular economy, I also shared this, I guess you maybe can download it afterwards, I don't know, because a lot of people made pictures during this, and Paula, I don't know if the presentation is shared afterwards, then it is. So there must be an option, or there must be cases where it makes more sense to recycle, because materials are too expensive, because materials are maybe not existing, and we want to find such situations. And to be frank, not every item can be used 100 times, can be recycled often or reintegrated oftentimes, but there must be cases. And we want to identify them and share them with you and with companies who are interested. So motivations are shortages, also motivation to do something for our planet. On the other hand side, and we do not or cannot tackle all the topics. So this is a research which is designed for several years. But of course, we assume that it can be modularized, that we can exchange models. So taking this smartphone where the battery is welded and it cannot be extracted so easily, maybe future product design also allows disassembly and secondary assembly much easier. So what we are doing, we're focusing on two types of digital twins. The first one is a production site. As said, the production site is mainly linear. But if we want to reintegrate products, brush them up, production sites must be more flexible. You can do it, of course, like the automotive industry, is it with garages or auto houses which are situated in every city, so not in the factory, but there might be some cases where factories could be more flexible, and therefore we want to integrate an IT approach, how to do the layout planning faster, more efficiently, and allow more flexible layouts. Therefore, we're also working together with about 10 companies, also like Bosch, Siemens Hausgeräte, Eurocopter, and Airbus, to identify, is there something possible? And secondly, if we want to know something of the products in use, to be frank, every OEM has, of course, digital twins, but digital twins, knowing how is the status of the customer product in use, bears a lot of leverages. And therefore, having this real-time integration information and maybe combining this with factory working planning and activities there bears potential. That's what we are doing at the moment. I want to focus today on the product usage and really show a very simple approach. So don't be embarrassed or angry if we just show a small drone afterwards, but basically those data can be used. One important short thing about circular economy up front. Have you heard about the R9 or R10 framework? That are the different types of reintegrating products. And reintegration of products is nothing new. So as Diego said yesterday, there's a lot of, about, I guess, 40 to 50% of copper is recycled. So there are 3 blocks and 10 measures towards circular economy. On the one hand side, what we know, the oldest ones are recycle and recover and also repair. But when it comes to recycling, for copper it's a good thing, but sometimes when I see what is recycling, my iPad cover, not my iPad, my iPad or tablet cover is consisting of old PET bottles. But this is quite far away from the original dedication of use. So there is still a lot of waste. And there are any other furthermore measures like expanding the lifespan of products or their components. When it comes to smartphones, I bought a new one, but I gave the old one for refurbishment, and maybe someone is using it now. But to be frank, I wanted to have a camera, just as my kids are small, that is better than the old one. Of course, reuse, and of course, smarter product use and manufacture. And there's something here highlighted in green, so don't go through all of these 10 ones. Reconfigure. Reconfigure in our case, or in the case of the automotive industry, bears also a lot of potential. Because a lot of those CE measures shown here allow breaking up those old cycles, or the linear production cycle, from raw materials, component manufacturing, component assembly, final assembly, then it goes into sales, into usage, and after that it's discarded. But of course, those ones allow brushing it up and reconfigure. We heard also a lot about software in the last days. Could, for instance, a software update of a car prolong the lifespan, provide new functionality, offering additional comfort, and that's something where we also expect that the automotive industry may profit of this one. But therefore, and therefore I get one slide back, we need to have information about the product in use, maybe via a digital twin, controlled by the OEM, and having information when is there a need to do something. So now what we are doing, we focus now on this product digital twin. And what did we do? And this is really a low starter, to be frank. We started with a drone. Also, to be frank, we don't have so much space on campus to have several cars in there. But what did we do with the drone? This is a drone you can just be bought for a certain amount of budget in the internet, or procured it via our official channels. But of course, in the university, sometimes it's also quite hard, as in many car manufacturer. But what did we do? Also, this drone, usually we use it also for showing how can production change to industry partners, but also we let our students build those drones in teams. But what did we do? We took this drone, and this was started with a bachelor thesis where someone took the AWS methods and just built a drone. And therefore, we could have in-life usage or in-life data about we did just three different parameters. Maybe when we just look to Murat and his presentation yesterday, where he showed us how many data you can retrieve during usage, and I know also you are experts, from brakes to axles to motors, and I guess everybody of you is now aware, or maybe is just thinking about some data that is necessary to track the quality of or the state of a current product. What we did was we just taking three measures. Also, as academics, we looked into a book, and then we took the minus roll. The minus roll, we used it to calculate the damage. For instance, when you drive a car, usually at 90 or 110 kilometers per hour, the damage is quite limited. But when you're always in the so-called red area of the RPMs, or drive a car always over 200 kilometers per hour, the utilization or the damage of the motor usually should be higher. And that's what we do, just for purposing. Also, we measured how many loading cycles, and then we calculated an overall damage and said, okay, from one point in time, it now shall come to the garage in terms of predictive maintenance. This is just what we did, but I guess you know which figures fit more into your setting. What did we do then? And this is now also as a short preparation for the World Café later on, where I will host one World Café, and also 4 other colleagues of us will host a World Café. For my World Café, I want to discuss what are potential applications in use. And therefore, I want to now give 3, I would say, super easy, lightweight examples. So the first one, as said, former MAN truck and bus employee, and in Germany there's an idiom, alte Liebe rostet nicht, so old love never rusts. So I took one MAN. So let's consider, or let's assume, the digital twin. Now I took this picture of the drone. Says there is a problem, or there will be a problem in the next months. our reaction would be should it go to a garage and should be repaired. What if such IT systems could check the route where the driver is going, make maybe an automated appointment, considering it could be repaired in 1 hour, and the service is done during the rest time of the driver? Guess that could be also, on the one hand side, a very good service for the logistics company. You make also additional sales because it's repaired there, and it would be a win-win situation. Second idea, definitely not really automotive, but what we discussed with our industry partners. Let's assume, in this case, a helicopter is prepared for a sea mission or for operation over the sea. And then it should be reapplied to a land mission. Usually, helicopters don't go to a garage, they go back to the factory. And that's where our idea, there must be an order from a customer system, and then the helicopter is taken back to the factory. And of course, the layout planning must be different in terms of the classical production of new helicopters. And maybe an automatic digital factory twin can help by proposing flexible layout steps and integrating it into the linear production line. And by this, also, both parties could profit in terms of speed and cost planning. And the third one, maybe more applicable for this or for our group today, the digital twin reports there's something with the battery. Maybe in a few years, battery can be exchanged in 5 minutes in a garage, maybe. But it could be also by the reporting and the battery maybe at 50% of the original level. So a big fear also in Germany. The battery is going down, I'm getting stuck when I go into vacation. We should not laugh. I hear a lot of such discussions, even when I talk with my students who then talk to their parents, and there are a lot of discussions in there. Maybe it could be easier to exchange the battery and bring it to a second life. Maybe I also want to talk to the circuonomics guys who do exactly such things. But I read that exactly this rebrushing of batteries could be a very big market. And let's see, we are here now to exchange ideas. And finally, a small call to action. So what do I want to say with this picture? On the one hand side, the blue arrow represents the information exchange or IT. When you look back 50,000 years, how was information exchanged from face to face, from generation to generation? Then cave paintings, first documentation of information. Hieroglyphs and writing. Then in the Middle Ages, Gutenberg press. And now we see with PCs, World Wide Web, or usage of AI, in all a small period of time, we talk about years and decades, and it's accelerating at the moment. We see a lot of innovation and new things going on. Same as when we think about production. So first primitive tools, 2.5 million years old. The wheel, then mechanical tools, and now IT, Industry 4.0 or the Internet of Things has been started or is going slowly or in mid-speed into the factories. Also AI talk is going to the factories. And we see, you also reported how much is going onto the cars. Maybe we think about Matthias' presentation yesterday, where AI is applied to some kind of production settings. And cars also develop, and I guess when we think about electric cars and software-defined vehicles, we see that the speed is really going on. Think about the presentation, the first presentation, so where's Etienne? showing very small, really tight sprints until you bring something into production. So these parts just passes MERS, and speed is now a very important thing, having information and applying information. And by this, I want to encourage you also as companies or in your companies to look into integration, to integrate IT, and maybe also digital twin is something which can help on the customer side. Therefore, I would like to say thank you, and of course, I'm open to questions. And this shall be also the input for my session in the World Cafe. So if not, also you can go into the break. Yes, one moment. In this case, I have to have a triple roll.
That was just quick about the refactoring. Did you have any insight or any information about what Renault is doing in Flins, in France? They have a refactory.
Mm-hmm. Which is refactored?
From cars. They are refactoring cars, or they're recycling their parts. So just to know if you have some insight about this factory. Not an equivalent in Germany, maybe.
So the main thing what I see here is, of course, in the moment, cars usually then from Germany are brought to other countries. So this is unfortunately, oh no, it's a Second Life. It's fair. I saw also some research from Aachen. So a lot of people of you cited the RWTA. Their Professor Schuh, also the one who invented the e-scooter from Deutsche Post DHL. I don't know if you know this one. He said usually the skeleton of the car could last 50 years. Maybe we could rebrush the car up. So in the moment, to be frank, also from a sales strategy, I don't know if it's worth following for automotive companies. So my idea, or the thing what I learned from discussions of what we hear when we think about the slide before, is maybe taking components or valuable components like batteries and reusing them. But the automotive industry in the moment is mainly linear, but offering the same product as a second or third life. So to think also, after handing in my company car, I took one car which was 2 years old. Because, to be frank, the list prices and the prices I got there was a big difference. Mm-hmm.
Do you see a greater openness for this type of thing with commercial applications, B2B? Like you showed the MAN truck there. I mean, they collect a lot more data anyway with telematics.
Mm-hmm.
Second engines or whatever is more common in heavy trucks. Is that perhaps an area where they're more open to this type of thing?
I hope so.
So
you need to see. So what I just say, there are more complex topics. So when you decide to go into the circular economy, there are more complex fields or quick wins. So this one thing I've shown with these garages, that's more a quick win. But to exchange batteries and cars depends also on the design. So the easier you get something out of the current product and reuse it, the better. I've seen a presentation from TESA. So people usually know it for TESA films, these gluing strips. They showed how a new technology can be applied to disassemble cars. So less welding, so it's just taking a really high performance strip, but you can just take it off and then you can extract several components which were welded beforehand. I guess a lot of applications will come. But of course this takes time. We talk about complex products. We talk about year-long development cycles, and I guess with the next generations, we see more. And of course, it has to pay out. Good. Also, regards to the time, I would say thank you. Also, love later on to allow it to discuss your ideas in the workshops, and therefore, I would love to send you also to the break, to the next networking break, and for the people who host the World Cafes, just get in contact with Paula if you have not done it, and I just hand over to you.